Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bedinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Denver, Colorado. I'm so glad you could join me today. I have for you a fun fold card. I did this card as part of my paper pumpkin alternatives, and I have had so many requests to show exactly how to make this card that I decided to make a separate video on this card and show how I made it. And it really is a lot of fun. And so let's just get started. Okay, here is my card. And this card, I use the Love You Always paper from the January to June mini catalog, and then I used some of the embellishments from the paper pumpkin, these laser cut pieces, and the card opens like this. So it's a gatefold card and it opens like this, and then this was a stamp from that paper pumpkin and closes just that same way again. So that is the card, and everybody wanted to know exactly what I did to make it, so I decided that today I would show that. So you start off with a piece of black paper. This piece is 8.5 by 5.5, and we're going to score it at 2 1/8. So I'm going to use my score blade and score it at 2 1/8, and then I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to score it again at 2 1/8. All right, and that is all of the scoring that we need to do on this card. It is a gatefold card, so this card is going to fold in from this side, and you want to be very sure that that is exactly right. Let's see, on the fold, so that it meets the top and the bottom exactly right, so that that is absolutely perfectly straight. Because this card opens to the front, it's going to have a little bit of weight on it, but I'm going to burnish this a little bit differently than I would ordinarily. So here we go on this side, making sure that, again, that is perfectly straight. Sometimes when we score something, you can fold it and it can be off just a little bit, and this one is very telling if you're off. So that is perfectly folded, so it is like a gate that opens this way. And in order for this card to lay down perfectly flat, I'm going to score this card going the other way as well, and then I'm going to fold it back the way I want it to go, and I'm going to burnish it one more time. And what I'm continuing to do is break down the fibers along that score fold, and it'll allow the card to close more easily, particularly once it has the additional weight on it. Okay, so what else do we need to make this card? I had another base done here, but I decided it would be good to show you all what it was I did specifically. All right, I have a piece of white that is 4 by 5 1/4, and that is going to go on the inside of our card. Then I have two pieces, and in this case I use this Love You Always paper, and I use the polka dots, and so I have pieces to go on the outside edge of these pieces, and these are 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. So 2, and you could do this, for instance, in Pacific Point, and use some of that beautiful strawberry paper that had the blueberries on it. You could use purple and use some of the hydrangea paper. It doesn't have to be black and white. I just chose to do that this way. But these pieces, again, are 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. You need 2. then I used 2 pieces of smoky slate, and this cardstock is 2.5 by 4 inches. Let me make sure that that's exactly right. Yeah, 2.5 by 4 inches. And then I used this designer series paper in the black and white at 2.25 by 3.75, so that it will mat just on the inside of these pieces here. So we have 2, 2, and 2. And then your piece for the inside. And then I used one of my favorites for making layered sentiments. I used the Stitched So Sweetly, and I did this background piece in black and this piece in white. In the paper pumpkin, they actually had a label that was black and white, which I thought would really go pretty well on this, and would fit just inside this one as well. Your choice. If you didn't get the paper pumpkin, this combination will definitely work. And then I used a couple of embellishments from my paper pumpkin kit. Here's this little piece down here, and then I used this little piece here, and then on the inside of this I did some stamping from that paper pumpkin kit. But what I've done is this was another embellishment from there, which I could use on the inside. And in this case, I've also cut some alternatives that would work on the inside of our card from that lovely celebration paper that we just got. And hopefully you have a little piece of that. But you could use any die cut. You could use die cuts from the Art Floral. You could use any number of things. So let's just go ahead and put this together so you can see exactly how this works. All right, so I'm going to take all of my little pieces of paper and put them up here and move this stuff out of the way so that we can start putting our piece together here. So the one thing I'm going to do is go ahead and put this piece down on the inside of my card. And you could add ribbon to this. You could do any number of things to dress it up. Gatefold cards are very versatile. There's a lot you can do with them. So I'm just going to add my seal to my 4 by 5.25 white and put that on the inside of my card and get that part going. And then I'm going to take these 2 panels and I'm going to put some seal on them. You can see what I mean when I say, you see there's a little gap on this one for the gatefold card, and this is the one I did ahead of time, and there is no gap on this one. I can show you by putting a piece on the inside. It's very, very minute, the differences, depending on exactly how you score it and how you fold it. And when it's black on black, it's kind of hard to see. But we've started with this one, so I'm just going to continue. Now I've added my seal on this piece, and I want to set that down so that is on the inside of my front gatefold, just like that. And I've got the second one. Add my seal on it and put it on the second flap. It's pretty important to get those even so that it doesn't look funny. I mean, going across here and going across here, that those are parallel. All right, so there we go. We've got those pieces on. Now I can take these 2 pieces. This is really a very simple card. I'm going to go ahead and adhere. That'd be pretty too. I love this paper. I love black and white. And so I'm going to adhere these 2 on the front panel here with a similar margin going all the way around. And the same thing, this was actually started out as a mystery stamping event at one of my meetings, and then I turned it into Paper Pumpkin, and now doing a separate video on it. So it's had 2 or 3 lives so far. Okay, that. All right, there we go. Now then, the lady who showed us this panel is meant to go straight across like that, and then this one straight across here. I think it's kind of fun when the polka dots show at the top and the bottom, and these are very close to one another. Now, she used some dimensionals on hers, and I think I'll go ahead and do that this time on this one. So I need to make sure I'm going to grab a little pencil, and if I lay this across here, I don't want any dimensionals to go beyond that point because I want it to stick on one side, and it's the same thing with this one. I'm going to set that down about where I want it side to side and mark that so I know that the halfway mark, I don't want dimensionals to go past that point. So if we put this one on this side, then my let's see, I want that to be that way. Let's take a look at the pattern on this. And this to go this way. Okay, so if I put this one on this side, then my dimensionals need to go on this piece here. And dimensionals are actually quite strong as far as holding things in place. So I'm going to use more than I need, but this is the mechanism that people are going to use to open and close this card, so I don't mind having an extra little bit of dimensionals on there. And let's see, I do have some minis, and they're black ones, and I'm just going to set those right here. Like that. Okay, now then this piece has to have its dimensionals go on this side. Okay, so our pieces need to go into place on the card, and as I recall, I had just the little bit of the polka dots poking out at the end, and put that into place, and my dimensionals are nice and well hidden, as is my pencil. Well, I see my pencil mark on the bottom here. I'm going to get rid of that. And on this one, I'm going to get rid of that before I get this put down on the card. That might be better because I can get to it a little bit more easily. Okay, now this piece is going to go here, and I wanted that kind of butted up against this other piece, not touching because I want it to close easily, but I did want those polka dots kind of sticking out at the bottom. So there we go, we have our piece, and it closes neatly, and that extra weight is starting to hold down that card nicely. Okay, now for the embellishments and the stamping. So on this one, I used, this was all done before Celebration ended, day before yesterday, and so I was using this stamp from the Touch of Ink that was part of the Celebration. Had this lovely Thinking of You. So I'm going to go ahead and do that again, and get that centered on this piece. Hold that in place just a bit, and there's a pretty thinking of you. That's not straight, but I cut another one just in case I did that. So, and I can do 4. I can do the back sides of these. There, I'm going to make that a little straighter. Thinking of you. And there we go. That's much better. All right. So now, since this is black, I'm going to lay it down on top there. And I'm going to add some snail. And I think I'll just use my dot runner here and put tape down. And then I'm going to put this centered on that mat like that. Looks like I've got a little bit of glue I need to get rid of there. There we go. And so that is now ready to go on here. And what I did was I used some of my rhinestones to do my embellishments on this card. And so I've got those ready to go here. Now then, let me put the top back on my ink here, because that is all the stamping I'm going to do. Now, what I'm going to do is, these were the little embellishments that I added from the paper pumpkin, but not everybody has the paper pumpkin. So I'm going to not use these. And I did just lay this flat down here because we've used dimensionals on these pieces, so it's already raised up a little bit. I think I'm just going to go ahead and add some seal to the back of this piece and put it into place on this. Maybe I'll put it on the bottom panel here because I've got more flowers up here. If I put it on the bottom panel, centered right down here, then I cut a bunch of these pieces out of the that celebration paper that we had, and not using some of these paper pumpkin pieces. So I'm going to move the paper pumpkin pieces away, and these were all just fussy cut from that beautiful, I can't remember exactly what it was called. I'll put it up on the screen for you. But this I thought would be lovely because of the way it curves to go right on here. So I'm just going to add some snail to the back of this piece and put it into place, and there we get our tremendous pop of color. And then I've got this beautiful orange piece, or we can put a little yellow piece up here, or the pink, or the pink. The pink would match the flower here. You know, I think I'm going to do the pink one. And then we've got that beautiful dark green, the shaded spruce leaves. And we've got shaded spruce leaves here, and then these are like a granny apple color. Okay, now on the inside, I cut this big beautiful piece here and thought we could use it as decoration on the inside. Now you could stamp something, like I said, from Art Floral, and do something along that line on the inside here. And I'm thinking maybe we'll just go ahead and put this piece, and I know it's up a bit, but we've got these other additional pieces that we can add to this. I've got a stubborn little piece of glue here that I'm just going to have to erase away. Okay, there we go. So we can add this to the bottom here, or just the yellow. And I think I like this. And in fact, I think what I'm going to do is add this piece here on the inside, right along here, to add that pop of color for the inside of our card. And I'm going to take this other little yellow piece just to add some yellow and manage to stick that down on this side. So there's a little bit of yellow going on the outside as well as the inside. And I think I'm going to try and pick this piece up. There we go. Right along that edge, and maybe stick this little flower back inside here like that. There we go. All right, so there we have our black and white with the pop of color. And this time I put my sentiment on the bottom and put this one on the top. You'll have to tell me what you think. And then I use some of these very largest of these big, beautiful rhinestones in the centers of these big flowers. That's why I put the sentiment on the bottom, because I had more of those big, beautiful flowers on that top piece. And I want to put these rhinestones in on there. Isn't that fun? I do love this card. It came out really pretty. And we're going to have lots of rhinestones on here because there's lots of flowers. So we're going to add one up there. And then I added a medium-sized one to my sentiment right over here. And then I did put some in the center of the flowers. Getting a little carried away with the bling, but that's okay. All right, there. And maybe a pretty good sized one in the center of this flower here. There we go. Now that's a lot of bling, but I'm kind of a bling girl. I kind of like all that stuff on there. So that is the project for today. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. I do so appreciate it. And if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, well, I'd love to be your demonstrator. Or you could join my team. It's always a good time to join Stampin' Up! It's $125 worth of product for $99. And the first quarter that you have to meet your minimum isn't until the end of June. So nice long runway to get organized and ready. Isn't that just a beautiful card? I love this little fold. Very cheery, very bright. This one says, thinking of you. It's very versatile. You could put so sorry for your loss on the inside. You could put happy birthday. You could put anything you wanted on the inside of this one, and it would be lovely. So that is it for me. Let's see, this will be posted in March. So I'm going to continue my prize draw for the month and make it a $60 shopping spree on me out of either the mini catalog or the main catalog. And the way you put yourself in my drawing is to put an order of any size on my store, lbedinger.stampinup.net, and you can get to it through my blog, www.ingenuity.com. If you haven't had a chance to check out my team's first blog hop, you can get to it through my blog. It's up, and there are 4 participants. They made beautiful cards. And those of you that have already been there, thank you for looking. I appreciate it. And so I'll be back soon with more cards, more projects, and more tips. Bye.